fly pattern. I call it the easy fly pattern. Basically, it's the foam grasshopper that yours truly definitely like using when I get out there. And so just to give you an idea what it really takes, there's all kinds of ways you can make it as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. And I'm just going to be using some stuff that I have already hanging around the area. So right here, so I've got some little rubber silly legs right here in black. I prefer white or maybe the little zebra pattern stripe thing, but I don't have any. I ran out, but that'll work. And then I just grabbed some of this Dacron pink thread. This is 210 Ultra Thread UTC. Okay, and it's got it on a simple bobbin. Got another bobbin over there set up, but hey, it's what we have there. And then I have this whip finisher right here. I have a little scissor, okay? And what we're going to be tying is a foam grasshopper. But when I first started tying it, I would just kind of free form cut a little rectangle like so, okay? And then I would shape it by cutting little edges right here to give it a slight angle, and then a little edge back here, okay? And that was how I was doing it. And then another time I went out, I said, hey, I wonder if I could just make it simple, just use a straight rectangle right here. And guess what? That does work. And then I also did get a little fancy by going with some of these foam cutters. Okay, so this is a beaver hopper style pattern. This is more of like a caddis wing pattern. And then this is that damsel fly pattern. Okay, right there. And what's it show? Just all kinds of ways you can tie this. But bottom line, when you use this beaver tail looking thing, it comes out like this. Okay, you got a little nodule here to help you tie it down. And then when you use the caddis wing, okay, I think it's meant for caddis wings and all that, but it does short order make a decent little foam spider style deal here. And then the damsel fly right here, that one makes a really cool view too, okay? And what'll happen is it'll end up looking like so, right? That's another one, okay? But just to keep it simple, we're just gonna tie what I call the free form right here, okay? And I'm gonna be tying it on a size 6 streamer hook. Okay? This is a Montana Fly Company streamer hook. And I usually go with a size 6 or a size 8 when I'm targeting bass. This is a size 8, okay? And just to tell you how simple it is, I quit using the, it's a chenille, put a body on there. I quit using it. Let me see if I can scan in a little bit for you. All right, I think I got to move this a little bit here. All right, okay. Let's move it here. I think I might have to lock in the focus. Okay. All right, let me just adjust. Okay. All right. Okay, so to keep it simple, you can put like a chenille body here, but you don't need it. I found out you don't need it. And you can, again, do a little shape, like so, freeform shape. Keeping it simple. You can get these foam cutters. I got them just because I was on a whim. I decided to go get these guys, and they make some really nice patterns and whatnot. But let's just say this is an easy pattern. The first thing you do is just take some 2mm closed cell foam, like so. Okay, like so. And you cut it into this rectangle shape. And in this case, we've got it on the vise. And all I'm going to do is kind of put it like so. So let's see. That's a size 6 hook. I'm going to place this here just to give you how far I'm going to take it back. I'm going to cheat it up a little bit and just kind of get it right at the bend of where the hook point meets the shank. Okay, and really the first thing you'll do is just wrap you a thread base. Okay, all right, and what's nice about this is, one, it works on the surface, so you can fish it dry, but as it gets waterlogged, it starts sinking. Fish still like it. I mean, it's like it becomes more like a little fly that's moving through the water, more like a minnow, a few inches under the surface, and the bass will tear it up. So that said, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to tie a thread base. Okay, I'm going to put it right here, even at the hook point. So just to know where the hook point is, I like putting the point of the hook just behind the jaws, fly tying jaws, and that's where I'm going to kind of stop right here, and that's where is going to be my key point, where I'm just going to take this little rectangular piece right here. I'm not going to even shape it. You can shape it if you want, like so, cut the angles and whatnot, but we're going to just keep it simple. Right here, let's clean it up just a little bit by just kind of cutting this. Okay, and what I notice is it's so simple. The fish still like it. It just needs to, give it that shape. Okay, and here I'm gonna let it extend out just that hair, and I'm going to start at an angle this way and tie into it. Okay, and then I'm just going to wrap it in tight. Okay, and then I'm going to adjust like so. And that's the good thing about this, is you can make adjustments on the fly like that. Okay, and then I'll just bring this up forward. And guess what? We're almost done. Okay, and then you just kind of cinch it down here. Okay, kind of twist it here and there. Okay, there you go. All right, you can flip this back to give it more weight, or if you think you want to give it a little angle, just snip it a little angle here. It's all up to you, but bottom line, I fished it straight rectangle, and it still caught fish. All right, so at this point, I'm going to get one of these silly legs. I normally use white, but this is all I have, is these black legs left. Okay, and what I do is I'll take a length, cut it in half like so, and then I'll cut it another length, so I'll have 4 pieces out of that one length like so. Okay, and I'll take 2 of them, and we'll start off putting on right on top and just get a loose wrap over. Okay, not tighten it all the way or anything. So it does that. Okay, and we'll kind of move it up a little bit and just kind of get it situated. All right, just like that. Okay, and we'll get the other 2, and you don't really want to tie down on it yet. You're really just kind of just securing it in place, letting the weight of the thread hold it down for you. Okay, and that allows you to kind of adjust the legs to where you like it. Okay, so I adjust the legs where I like it. Okay, that looks good. All right, so at this point, I'm going to start cinching down on it, slowly tightening it down like so. Okay, and once I have it where I want it, like that, I'm pretty much done. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little extra foaminess right here. Actually, no, I don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Cut that out. Okay, and then I'll twist this back, and now that's the rectangle. You can fish it just like that right there, and you'll still get you'll get some fish on there. But you can also trim this at an angle like so to give it a little tail like that. Okay, and then at this point, you want to just do some whip finishes to secure the legs in place. And I kind of like having the legs up high on the body like that. All right, and okay, And then you can use super glue, or you can use a UV glue, or your favorite head cement. Either one of those will work. They will definitely work for your fly. Okay, I'm just tightening it down here. So you can use a whip finish tool like so. But because it's kind of hard to get, I'll just do one by hand. Okay, so just use my fingers and do a whip finish using that manner, because I can get it through the legs and kind of work it through. Okay, just like that. Do like a 4 wrap one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll pull it tight, come down on it and cut it, and then make some adjustments, and there it is. That's simple. All right. You can add a little UV glue to it. Okay. So I'll just kind of dab it on there. Actually, I'll put it on threads as well as part of the body, just to make it more foamy like, or water resistant, so it'll float higher up. Okay. But you can also use super glue, and it works just as good. Okay. So stay tuned here in the next few days. I'll probably take this out and show you that you can catch a fish with this little foam grasshopper that I tied in just this amount of time. Okay. All right. And that's it. Little size 6 streamer hook right there. Okay. Now it's very simple. That'll catch you a fly, or that'll catch you a fish. But then again, you can always use your foam cutters, use these different ones. How I will do a pre-cut one like this. This is one that's more of a smaller size that I would use. In the case of the damsel fly, this one I'll tend to use a smaller shank hook, and I'll actually use some saddle hackle and whatnot to get it in there. In fact, here I can show you that one real quick also. All right, and again, these are all simple ties. You don't have to work hard at it. Okay, okay, so this one, let's just do a foam damsel fly. And again, you don't need a body on it. It'll twist on the shank and everything. Fish doesn't care. They'll still hit it. You can secure it. You can do all kinds of stuff to secure in place. But bottom line, they're going to hit it. It'll move around on the shank, but it'll still catch fish. All right. So let me get this, and then I need a little saddle hackle. I got some extra ones behind me real quick. All right. Okay. Little grizzly hackle, saddle hackle. Okay. Now, in the case of the foam or the damsel fly, this one is a very easy tie. And what you do is tie it in right where this little angle starts. Put it right there and wrap it on there. Okay. Put it really tight. Okay. And then I'll come up forward and stop over here and give it a little head, slight head, kind of twist everything in place. Okay. Looks like that. Okay. And in this case, I'm going to use this little saddle hackle here just to build up a wing for it. I used to use like the silly legs and all that. But for this, especially when the damselfly are moving about, I find that this setup seems to work really well for the fishies. Let's just secure that in place. Take advantage of this little thread holder deal. I'm using a peak fly tying device that I picked up several years back, and been having a it's pretty much the last one I'll ever buy. I've got two other vices, but I tend to fall back on this one. In this case, all we're going to do is do a dry hackle, and I'm just going to build it up really, really thick. Okay. And in this case, we just go ahead and get it secured in place. All right. Twice behind, twice in front. one more back, and then we'll pop it off. And we'll come back and finish off the head. And right there is a variant of a damsel fly that doesn't require any silly legs or anything. Okay, right there. And this one will catch bluegill, bass as well. Okay, that's all it is. Okay? And you can put some head cement on it. You can clean up a little, but I find that if you just kind of leave it as is, like so, I think these extra little hairs and whatnot still gets them going, and they'll strike it. Okay, and this will sink on you partly. It'll sit more like this, and yeah, you'll definitely get a fish or two. So we'll save this one for upcoming quick trip to the local pond, and along with this one, little rectangular foam grasshopper, and we'll see if we can catch a few fish in that manner. All right, so that is an easy fly tying pattern. If you're first starting out, all you need is a little streamer hook. In this case, a size 8 is what I'm using right here, and then some silly legs, 2mm closed cell foam, and a scissor to just cut it and shape it, and then basically make a rectangle. And then from there, let's see, some kind of glue looks good. Oh, thanks, Ruben. Some kind of glue. I'm using a UV glue, but I've used head cement as well as the what do you call it? Fly tying cement, head cement, I think is what it's called. Yeah. You can downsize these. You can take them down to size 10s and 12s and 14s. All right. You go with the smaller sizes, you'll tend to get a lot more hookups. And then unfortunately, there'll be a lot more of those little guys. When you do get a bigger, let's say bass and whatnot, the big part that you usually have to be careful of is when the bass takes it, he actually gets hooked inside the mouth. And what happens then is your line is rubbing against that real sandpapery part of the bass's mouth. And if you can bring them in quickly, you're going to be good to go. But if you fight them for even a fair amount of time, it's going to end up eventually abrading and cutting off. So the reason why you want a bigger size hook and to set the hook as soon as you can is so you can get that hook embedded in the jaw area. And then if you do have to fight them, you definitely have a fighting chance, because then you actually have the hook against its jaw instead of that your tippet rubbing against the bass's sandpapery teeth. Okay, I've caught a fair amount of bass using these flies, big ones, small ones, across the board. The bottom line, when I am fishing it, I tend to get better landing rates when I do hook them in the jaw versus when they swallow it and they take it further in, and now my lines are braiding against the upper part of their jaw. So with that, that's all I had, unless anyone have any questions, or if there's any other things you want to talk in general, fly tying or fishing in general. You can see I've got a bunch of gear and stuff around me in my man cave here, just to show you. There's a bunch of stuff there. There's a bunch of stuff there. Let's flip the camera around. And more there. And then there's more there. And then there's more there. And then back to there again. Of course, I like ukuleles too. So you can see that as a man cave goes, I tend to just kind of remember where I put stuff. And if someone moves it on me, then I'm hosed. I do have a fair amount of gear, but what I do is I'll just kind of cycle through things throughout the year. So like right now, I've got some bait finesse rods set up. I've got a little 4-weight 8-foot rod, 2-piece. right here, and it's got a, guess what, a little foam grasshopper right there. And that one's one that's like for ready to go do things. And then additionally, I've been setting up some stuff to take advantage of this. Let me see if I can show you. Right here, right there. It's a little ice chest live well thing that I've been using to catch some little, oh, I'd say sunfish and bluegill. And it's mainly because I want to take out my hand line right here. I got a hand line here. This is that Yoyito. And then back in here, I've got that Cuban hand line right there. And I've got another one that I replicated this using the 3D printer behind me to make a 3D printed version of that. And this is the one that I have in my work backpack or laptop case, because I want to try catching something with a 3D printed style of this, since I've already caught, well, I caught a 27, 28-inch catfish with this baby already. Okay. Other things, back to fly tying again. Here is that beaver tail, I think it's what, beaver tail style. And it is made with one of these foam cutters. And you pretty much grab your foam, put it on this little plastic deal, and press it on there, and it cuts it. These are nice. Got that little extra deal right there to help you secure it down. So let me just show you real quick. We've got time, and these are so easy to tie. It's not even funny. Okay. So again, I put the hook point so it's just behind the jaws. I lock it in place, put down a thread base, forget about the body. You can add body and all that, but that's just one extra thing. And I guarantee the bass and bluegill and others really don't care if it's got that chenille body or whatever you want. You can do it. I've done it off and on, but for the most part, nah, you don't need it. Okay, so I'll stop right here, just by that jaw where the hook point is. Okay, and right here, well, let's see. Actually, wait a minute. I think this one you have to take advantage of that little dealie here. So let's go back to the front. Okay, we're going to tie it down, place right there. Actually, no. I think the way to do it is this way. That way you can flip it back. And what that does, at least that's what I understood, was it helps keep the fly, the foamy stuff, from spinning on you on the shank. But I find that it really don't matter. Fish will still hit it even if it's flipping around on the shank. Okay. Main thing is just having the right size hook for the fish that you're targeting. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's get this guy started back here, secured. Okay, this one I'm gonna make it different, just because I want to try something new, and we'll probably try fishing this one again. But I'm gonna make the head. I'm just gonna push up forward, make that head portion. I'm gonna lock it down tight. And the good thing about working with foam is you can just kind of twist things as you need to. Really, the only time it becomes critical is after you set the glue. Once you set the glue, then that's it. That's what that looks like. Okay, I'm gonna pop it up and take it back to the second segment right here, and that's where I'm gonna put the legs. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna, and you can put, again, that chenille and all that, give a little body, but I don't. The fish don't care. They're going to hit it no matter what. Okay, so I'll start down with just a slight loose wrap, and then I'll start tightening down. Okay, there it is now. Kind of twist it back in place. Okay. All right, so now I've got a nice thread base here to give it enough oomph, I guess. for when I put the legs. And sorry for the black legs. It's all I have left. I used up all my white ones. Okay. And this, in fact, we're going to make this one into 4 pieces. Let me grab the other one here, 4 pieces. All right. And one thing that I learned from an old timer about fly tying is anytime you're cutting material, okay, always cut above your thread bobbin. So just let your thread lay here and you cut here. You won't accidentally cut your line or the thread. Okay. The other thing is I learned this one also is when you're tying legs like this, do a loose wrap like so on its side, and you can flip it over this way and do another loose wrap. That way you're not having a struggle with trying to keep a hold of all these. See, and when I say loose wrap, you see how it's all over the place right now? Doesn't matter. As long as you have it there, then you can kind of keep the weight of the thread, bobbin and all, to hold it in place, and then you can make your adjustments. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do is make a few adjustments here or there. All right, and then at this point, I'm going to lock it in place, tie it not too hard, because if you tie it really tight, it's going to start pushing in these legs and get in tighter. If you want it that way, you can do that. Okay, but at this point, I kind of like it just like that. Okay, and you can shorten the legs or make adjustments by pulling this and trimming. All right, but I find fish don't care. It still works. All right, main thing is just get it so it's kind of even. All right, and then at this point, I'll loosen up on the line, and so you can have one of these, or I've got another one that I made right here. This is one that I made a little whip finish to make it wider because I need more. However, worst case scenario, I just use my 2 fingers and I just do a whip finish by hand. Okay, like so. Because you got a hard thing is when you're using a smaller size whip finish like this, it's tough to get right over that area. But you can use a bigger one. It's the homemade one that I had, and because I've got that wider gap, I'm able to kind of cheat a little bit and stay further into the body of the fly and get it around those legs. But in shorter, you can always use 2 fingers, just like this. 2 fingers, all right? And then all you're doing is just laying just like another whip finish deal here. All right, so that's it. This is the beaver tail style. And yeah, you can trim up the legs a little bit. I don't, because, well, I don't think it really matters. And then you can use super glue. I'm just going to use this UV glue. All right. Just put it right here. I like putting a little bit on the body itself just to help keeping it from getting waterlogged. Okay. And then you can put some on the underside as well, right here. Just to help it stay in place. But as I found, it really doesn't matter. It's going to slip eventually, and the fish don't care. They're still going to hit it. They're still going to hit that baby. All right. Let's give it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And that baby's ready to fish. Yep, ready to fish. Okay. All right. We'll take these out, and I'll do a little fishing video and just show you what I caught with this here in the next few. Probably maybe this weekend or early next week. Okay. And that's it. Any tips on tying? Look, that's good looking. Got my, cool. Bucktail jigs. Shoot. I've got some bucktail, but unfortunately, I'm running low. I mainly use the bucktail for making clouser minnows, but in the case of bucktail jigs, similar to that, I've been making craft fur ones, and let's see. Nope, I don't have any. But so there's 2 styles of bucktail jigs or clouser minnows that I'll typically tie. The saltwater variant, where I put a dumbbell eyes on it, especially when I'm fishing Denison Dam with some of the clouser minnows and whatnot. I find that that works well. In the case of bucktail jigs, I would say similar to the clouser minnow, sparse tie versus a very thick tie. You tend to get more strikes with a sparsely tied jig, or in this case, clouser minnow. I think I've seen the same thing hold true. And when I say sparse, it's funny. I'll start out with a clouser minnow with basically the full bucktail and everything, all the hairs on there that I first put on there. And then it's getting hammered by the striped bass. By about, let's say, the 10th striped bass, a lot of those hairs are kind of been torn up and everything. I'm still getting hits. In fact, I'm getting more hits. And it seems like the sparsely tied ones tend to get more hits in general. At least that's what I've seen with striped bass. Hopefully that's helpful. The other thing is when you are tying a bucktail jig or like a clouser minnow, make sure that the side that is the bottom or the tummy is the lighter section, and the top is got that darker section. In this case, I usually tie blue and white. Little tinsel also helps. Also, some crystal flash and whatnot. Adding that in there seems to help pretty good. All right, cool. All right. Any other questions, call outs? Certainly have time right now. I've got a lot of my 16-ounce Keystone Light. I went with Keystone Light today because it's only got 4.7 grams of carbs, and got to watch my carbs here. All right. It's like Coors Light when you're thirsty and you've been working out all day. It's like having a cool quench, a refreshing liquid. Anyways, but not to say that it's very hard to tie these flies. Okay, let's see. What are the things I can call out? Let's see. Oh, there's this one bobbin that I definitely like. This is the one that I use as an extra. All right, and you kind of grab these and you can pull them out and in to make them tighter or looser. Okay, but my favorite one, and this is one that I think my son got this for me way back when. I hear the right bobbin, the right bobbin right here. Okay, and this is one I use a lot. It's got a ceramic tube right here, or barrel. Okay, and then it's got a little plastic deal here for some, I guess, good gripping. And then what I really like is you can adjust the tension on here so that you can always maintain good control of whatever you're tying. Let's see. Let me go grab a hook. Let's see what we got here. Geez, I forgot where I put my hooks. Oh, there they are. All right. These are the hooks I was using right here. Montana Fly Company. This is the size 8. Okay. And this is the size 6. Okay. And just to give you an idea, let's go and grab the size 8 real quick. Size 8. Yeah, these are the size 8s. And it's kind of weird. I've tied this one pattern that all it is some saddle hackle. That's it. Okay. Maybe I'll show you that one if I can grab some saddle hackle. All right, let's see. I got so much stuff laid around. I just got to remember where I put it. Bear with me. I think I have it over here hidden. Let's see, it's down here. Okay. No, that's marabou. What I'm looking for is some saddle hackle. And, oh, here they are. Perfect. Okay. If you want to talk about making a simple fly that catches bass, it's this one right here. Okay. I've tied it with just one saddle hackle. And I've also tied it with, what was it? 2 saddle hackles. Okay. And this is what I call the, it's the Crackleback, but without a bunch of this extra stuff. Instead, it's just a saddle hackle right here. And it's tied palmer wrapped. Okay, so got a size 8 hook, and I've caught a lot of bass with this, and it's so simple. I'm gonna show you right now how I do it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking some saddle hackle. You can go with any color. I just went with this cream brownish color because it's what I had. All right, and what I did is I'm looking at, I want it to have a long hackle. All right, and then I'm going to pull away here this section so I can have a nice tying in spot right there. Okay, and we'll take that right bobbin thread here and we'll just lay a thread base, and right here it's keeping a nice steady pressure. This thing is I'm just turning it on, and I'm maintaining really good tension on the line and all that, and it's holding really nicely. All right. Okay. So with this, all we're going to do is we are going to tie this in back over here, right where, again, how I start everything is I'll take the hook point right here and I'll put it right here, even with the vice jaws, so I know where that vice jaw is the point of the hook, and that just lets me get a decent reference as to where I'm going to build the fly. In this case, I'm going to start this right here, tying in the saddle hackle right at that point. Okay, and I'm just going to tie it in really tight, and I'm just going to move forward. Okay. Now I've done it in some cases where I add a little dubbing here, but I found that it didn't matter. And this is going to be called the one hackle, crystal or Crackleback variant. Okay, just do a little quick deal here. I probably just needed a half hitch to hold it in place. Okay, and I've got this peak rotary tying vise, so I can take advantage of being able to rotate the shank of the hook and just hold this in place here. And all you're going to do is palmer wrap. So palmer wrap is you're going to start from the back and move forward to the eye of the hook, versus a dry fly wrap, which is where you kind of tie it in here like your traditional dry fly. Okay, and all you do is just kind of move forward in this manner. Nice big buggy bushy whatever. Okay, and right when I get about a eye width back from the eye itself, I'll stop and just build a base there, and then at that point I'm done. Okay, and then here I'm going to give it 1, 2 wraps behind, and then I'm going to give it 1 for good measure. Then I'm going to go, let me take in some of this line. All right, and then I'm going to go 2 in front. All right, and then at this point I'm going to snap off that piece, that excess, Now I'm going to just pull back right here just to get a good handle right here. And then I'm going to build a head. All right. So I'm going to start going back a little bit, stop about an eye width back, and then I'll build the head. Okay. Just your traditional fly head. Okay. And I've done several videos where I use this fly and I was just tearing up the bass on this. They loved it. And what's nice about this is it's not really on the surface. It really just kind of sinks down. And if you put a bunch of dry fly floatant, it will sit on top and look just like a little, one of these. There's just one dragonfly looking thing that has this color, if not a darker brownish color, that the bass just tear up. They'll jump out of the water and grab it. Okay. And be flying about, and it kind of looks like this when it's flying. So when you cast one of these and it lands on the water, and there's a bass standing there waiting for it, he's gonna pound it. Or if you see a bunch of them flying, and just sight cast where you see these bugs flying, and sure enough, you could probably get one of these bass to strike. So that's when they're on the surface and you're fishing it dry. But I fish it where eventually it's going to get waterlogged on me. So I don't really use dry fly floating. I'll get what's that stuff you can do, like 3M silicone waterproofing stuff that you put on your tent, I'll do that. And it'll stay dry enough to where I can just kind of flip it back and forth and let it dry in the air or whatnot, and it'll start floating again. But most times it'll just kind of get waterlogged and sink. What happens then is now you're fishing it more like a minnow, and it looks like this now as it cuts through the water. And guess what? Nice. They will pound that thing. It's I think I got like 20 bass, one of the ponds, fishing that. All right. You'd be surprised. And this is a size 8 hook. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. Let's see. Is it never wet? Oh, you can fish it wet. Yeah, you fish this wet. All right. In fact, here. I think I have some water here. Yeah, I got some water here. Let's dump it on here. All right. So when it's wet, it'll start getting this look like so. Okay. And as it cuts through the water, you kind of do a little twitching motion like so. As you're bringing it in, or a short retrieve on the line, it'll start cutting through the water and it'll just kind of pulse. Poof, poof, poof. Looks alive, and the fish really tear it up. So another very simple fly. You just saw what it took to tie it. Okay. Isn't that what cool? What name is never? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. And in fact, I'll put it in the arsenal now that I'm building up some flies that hopefully in the next few days here, I'll get another one of these mobile fishing live stream videos out, and you guys can see these guys in action. All right. This is a good fly though. All right. We are coming up on fall, and things are going to start changing on us when it'll shift from warm water fishing into colder water fishing or cooler weather fishing. That's where we're going to be shifting over to trout fishing. I think right at the tail end of October and the first week in November, they'll be starting to stock some places in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think City of Mesquite gets its first stocking usually in November. And then in the case of Oklahoma, run across the border, you can definitely have a chance to get a hookup with one of the trout that they're stocking, especially if you're in the North Texas area. If you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, you can make it up with the Blue River. I do know that the non-resident Oklahoma fishing license definitely went up in price this year. I still haven't gotten mine. I'm kind of waiting, for that first trip to the Blue, mainly because you purchase it year to date. So whenever you purchase it, it's going to expire 1 year after that date of purchase. So, if I get it now and I don't go fishing, it's a few days that I may have missed out. on the tail end of that year-to-date year. All right. All right. Well, I certainly welcome you guys joining today. I plan to do more of these. And well, I plan to follow up with, now that I've tied them, let me show you that they catch fish. All right. Appreciate it. And until next time, we'll catch you all later. Good luck and good fishing.